This is an expression that I love. Don't let perfection be the enemy of good. This is at the Daf Yomi celebration. Rabbi Friend was talking to over almost 100,000 people, and he said, it's true, a lot of people are going to tell you, learning the Daf Yomi every day, the page of Gemara, it's quick, it's not doing justice to the Daf. It would be so much better to go slowly and to learn Daf of Gemara, with all the Mefarshim and taking the time to study it and all the details. True, 100% true. But because you say, oh, I'm not learning it the proper way or the best way, so therefore I'm not going to learn it at all, that's not a good idea. Don't let perfection be the enemy of good. In other words, if you could do it good but not perfect, still do it good instead of not doing it. And that's something I think we could learn from this week's parasha. There's something extraordinary in this week's parasha. Parashat Yitro, of course, is known Matan Torah, the only time that God speaks to Bnei Israel. He gives the Torah to the world. It's a beautiful parasha, a very, very strong parasha. But we would expect the name of this parasha not to be Parashat Yitro. Parashat Matan Torah, Parashat Moshe, Parashat Bnei Israel, Parashat Gad, whatever you want to call it. Parashat Yitro, the father-in-law, the non-Jewish father-in-law of Moshe, it's got to have a connection, and the parasha doesn't start, of course, with receiving the Torah. It starts with talking about Yitro and a couple things that we know about him. Why is that? Why is Yitro, or the portion that we talk about Yitro and his legacy, a prerequisite for receiving the Torah? Because it is a prerequisite for receiving the Torah. But why is that? And this is really a question that I leave open, and every one of us should think about this around the Shabbat table and think about it, because Yitro has a lot of angles to him. But what is maybe one point that we need Parashat Yitro as an introduction for Kabbalat Torah? What is it? So the biggest story that we discuss here is Moshe Rabbeinu being very busy and being the only reference of halakha, let's say, was the only guide of the Klal Israel, and he was making all decisions for everyone, but the rabbi of the whole Klal Israel can't do it alone. And Yitro saw that, he said, this is not going to work. The long term, it's not going to work. He gave advice to his son-in-law and he said, you need help. You need to get people to back you, to help you, to take care of smaller problems, and the big things, you're going to take care of them. But seek help from others. Now, we have to ask ourselves, why would a Moshe Rabbeinu or anyone on earth not accept help from others? There could be two possibilities, I think. One would be a person who would be arrogant. He wants to keep all the kavod for himself. That's not the case with Moshe. Because we know the Torah tells us Moshe was the most anav, the most humble person that ever existed. So that's out. That's not the reason why Moshe didn't want to seek help. Maybe Moshe didn't seek help because many of us, many times, if you own your own business, you know that you would prefer so much more to do everything. Because when you delegate and you give other people flexibility and you see the work or the responsibilities that you give them, the work is not done to perfection. And sometimes you're like, oh my God, maybe it's just better if I do it myself. It happens to me many times. Why ask this person to do it, this person to do in shul? I could do it myself, I'm just going to do it myself. It's going to take time, but it's going to be well done. And because of that, we do less things, because how much time do we have in a day? So we have to learn how to manage our time by delegating to other people. And yes, you're right, the result is not going to be the same. The result is not going to be perfect. But what's better? To have many, many, many things well done, or a small amount of things perfectly done. Don't let good be butchered because on the name of perfection, I'm not going to do it. And that's perhaps what Moshe Rabbeinu wanted. He wanted a perfect result, but he couldn't do it alone. And Yitro said, you know what? Let other people handle it. It's not going to be Moshe Rabbeinu result, but it's going to be some result. And big things, or if there's a mistake, you could correct it. But let them help you. And this message of don't let perfection be the enemy of good resonated since that moment I heard it. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful message. It resonates on all areas in life. I'll give you a simple example. Now with the war in Israel, like many of you already know, we have a fund that helps Israel, etc. And one would think, you know how many funds are there? They talk to you about You know, people think they're smart when they tell you, you know, Federation has $400 million, they have nothing to do with it. You hear these numbers, you're like, why am I even donating $20 and the $30 and the $1,000 and the $2,000? This is ridiculous. You have hundreds of millions of dollars going around. Ashrehem v'tov lahem, Klal Yisrael is generous. Okay, great. What about the small people like us? Why even try? Why even open a fund? But you know what? Maybe we bought 25 vests at once, and 50 boots, and 1 drone, and little things. But you know what? Don't let perfection be the enemy of good. I'm so happy that we did it. Because it was a mini fund, it became a little bit bigger than a mini fund. But you know what? If we never tried, if we never started, we wouldn't do. And guess what? There are probably hundreds of funds bigger than ours. So what? They do amazing, they do perfect, we do good. But we did something. And I'm so happy we did it. And kol hakavod to whoever participated. You know what? Because don't let perfection be the enemy of good. If you could do something okay, then do it. It's better than nothing. Shabbat shalom.